welcome. You're still watching Smart Business, your daily Kickstarter, and we're here to give you business updates and what you should expect in the business world. Now, did you know that there is much more to church than just praying and going for worship? But of course, I must say there is actually business in church. So definitely our very own Andrew Barije was in Namgongo to give us to share with us actually what is beyond worship and prayer in the church ministry.
Of course, as generations pass, the human mind keeps on evolving, and of course perceptions about different aspects keeps on changing. And now today we have something quite very interesting. What is that aspect that you've perceived the church about? For over the time, of course, we've had these beliefs about churches, this, but there is another side that probably you may not have taken time to really look into. And now that is the side of money making, a business empire, and all these aspects. Now, quite so many churches, so many groups that's all over the world have formed conglomerates when it comes to business management and building all these business kingdoms. Something quite very interesting which has been very beneficial when it comes to benefiting the citizens of those countries. Now in Uganda, of course, the Anglican Church has something that is called the Kido. And when I talk about the Kido, I mean the Kingdom Development Organ. It's quite a very interesting aspect, quite very wide, and many people are going to really benefit from this result. And of course, I'm joined with a coordinator of this particular project, the Kido, the Kingdom Development Organ, as is going to introduce himself and also further give us an insight how this really works and what do we project in the future when it comes to any people that are going to be a part of this. So you're very welcome on Smart 24 TV, where we drive business, and we are talking kingdom businesses.
Kingdom business.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Maybe make an introduction, who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Rogers Peterson.
Yeah.
Kasambeko Nabongo.
Yes, sir.
And by the grace of God, I'm serving as the provincial Kido coordinator. The reason why I've used the word provincial is because Church of Uganda is segmented into 37 dioceses.
Okay.
And this year we are going to be having more extra 2 dioceses to make it 39. So when you bring all those dioceses together, they form what we call a province.
A province.
A province. So in the whole country, in Uganda, in the layman's language, in Uganda, the Anglican Church has 37 dioceses. Now every diocese is headed by a bishop, but of course the chief shepherd is always the archbishop.
Okay.
So the archbishop is the chief shepherd of all the bishops, and by the establishment of the church, we have around 3 organs.
Okay.
We have what we call the provincial secretariat.
Yes.
And the provincial secretariat, that's where the archbishop also resides together as the head of the institution.
Yeah.
Now under the provincial, we then scale it down to the diocesan secretariat or the diocese.
Yes.
So at the level of a province, that is where the coordinating units or departments and directorates are. And then when you come to diocese that are headed by the bishops, that's why you find the different departments. But those departments should reflect what is at the province.
Okay.
And then below the diocese, we have got the archdeacons, and then the parishes and the sub-parishes, what you would call the churches.
The churches.
So the whole Church of Uganda has 37 active bishops.
Okay.
As we're speaking right now, we have 46 retired bishops.
Okay.
The existing bishops, the existing archbishops, right now that we have that are still living by the grace of God, are 2. That is Archbishop Luke Orombi, Emeritus Archbishop Luke Orombi, and then also Emeritus Archbishop Stanley Intagari.
Okay.
Now, when you come, when you come from there, church has for long been perceived as an state of only religious kind of perspective. But church actually has graduated from just having that kind of mindset to having a universally inclusive kind of approach.
Okay.
Because church is not just about the structures you're seeing.
Yeah.
Church are the people. And then to sustain those people, you drive them through sustainable programs.
Okay.
The Archbishop, the Right Reverend Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, is one of his core prayers is to see how can we have a church that is self-sustaining.
Self-sustaining church.
A self-sustaining church is a church that doesn't just rely on donations or that doesn't rely on the offerings that we receive on maybe Sunday collections and others, but it is a church that has got systems and structures that can self-fund or finance any project that the church has. And that one brings me to the earlier introduction of Kido.
Yeah, the Kido.
Kido, as you heard, it is Kingdom Development Organ. So we are using biblical principles to actually create an atmosphere within the province that can be self-sustaining.
Okay.
So we want to approach business from a kingdom of God perspective. Okay. We want to approach any social economic intervention in the areas of the biblical kind of principles. Okay. So at the province we have around 3 business organs. We have got a company called Church Commissions Holdings and Company Limited. That is the business arm of the church.
Yes.
And where you see, when you hear about church house, that is Church Commissions. Oh. You hear about Uganda Bookshop, that is Church Commissions.
Church Commissions.
You hear about Namirembe Guest House, that is Church Commissions. You hear about Centenary Publishers, that is still Church House. Okay. That is still Church Commissions.
Commission, yes.
So you find that church is now engaging into the market space, but with a biblical approach. Okay. When it comes to, we have another department that is called the Directorate of Household and Community Transformation. Their entire focus is on seeing how do they improve the socio-economic livelihood of the people. Okay. So we've seen them going into different dioceses, giving them pigs, giving them cows. We even saw recently through a partnership of Church of Uganda and government, there are some dioceses that were given tractors. Okay. That is also a segment in the church. Wow. But now when it comes to my side, being a provincial coordinator of the Church of Uganda, this program, Kido, was established during the time of Emeritus Archbishop Stanley Ntagali. There was a group of some professionals who came together. They looked at the Church of Uganda as a sleeping giant.
A sleeping giant.
A sleeping giant. He has every resource around him, but he has failed to deploy those resources or to utilize the resources effectively. So then they sat together, they had a series of meetings, and then came up with the word Kido. Kido in the literal language, it's a lingui for Chido. Chido meaning 500 shillings. 500,
oh yes.
So the 500 shillings now became the concept. Okay. They said if Church of Uganda can mobilize its members across the province, and these members every day, they contribute only 500 shillings.
500 shillings.
500. And the focus is on mobilizing 1 million Ugandans per day. Okay. Then the church would have mobilized every day 500 million.
Every day?
Every day it would have mobilized 500 million. So that was the concept. Once the people understand
500 people?
500 shillings.
500 shillings?
Mobilize 1 million.
Okay.
Every bishop across the province mobilizes his people to make sure they pay 500 shillings on a daily. Okay. So if you summed up this money, it would mean that an individual would be contributing 182,500 shillings for a whole year.
A whole year, okay.
182,500 shillings. And with that amount of money, the church realized that they would do so very many things remarkably. Okay. And one of the key areas that we are focusing on, they had focused on the area of education, the area of health, the area of finance, the area of household and infrastructure development. Now, all those areas being brought together, we believe that they would bring what we call a holistic Christian. Okay. But as time evolved, Kido, as any program evolves and grows, Kido also grew. So there was a study that was carried out. And the study was, how do we have a program that is going to support both the institution and also the individual.
The individuals. Wow.
So that is how the program evolved. And then instead of paying 500 shillings, an idea of members contributing a minimum, and quote me, a minimum of 50,000 shillings every single year.
Okay.
These individuals would be actually saving on their account.
They save 50,000 shillings on their account.
50,000 shillings on their account.
Yes, yes.
And once they've saved that money, of course, at the end of every year, dividends are attracted to that money. And then you share with these members 50% of the profits generated out of their money.
Okay, okay.
Then the remaining 50% is then sent back to their diocese. Because 40% is what is directly sent, then 10% is left at the province for administrative purposes.
Okay.
Now the 40 was guided in such a way that once the synod, the diocesan synod sits, the diocesan synod then has to make a resolution on where this amount of money should be invested.
Okay.
But then we are looking at categorically two areas.
Yes.
It was the side of education, the side of health, and then education. Why are we speaking about education and health? If you look at where Church of Uganda is, you will find that if there is a church on the hill like Namirembe, on the right-hand side you will find there, you will find on the left-hand side, you will find a hospital.
Yes.
That's Mengo Hospital. Then on the right, you will find a school, Mengo Primary School, and then Mengo Secondary School.
Okay.
So you come to church, you're spirit filled, you get a condition that needs health attention, you go to Mengo Hospital. Once deliveries are done, you come to Mengo Primary, you go to Mengo Secondary, then you end up at the university.
Wow.
And right now, Church of Uganda has the Uganda Christian University. So we have that cycle. But we have realized over the time that those schools have now begun degenerating because of the current waves of competition and also of resources.
Okay.
So we thought as a church, and this goes to the House of Bishops, who said, how can we self-finance our own programs?
Self-financing programs.
Self-financing them without relying on relying on the donor support. So with through Kido, on average, every diocese is supposed to receive the minimum amount is actually around 40 to 100 million.
100, okay, yes.
So with this idea, now I'm going to go into the nitty-gritties. With this idea, Church of Uganda looked at a diocese.
Yes.
As I told you before in the introduction, I said we have 37 dioceses. So out of the 37, given the current statistics, it is believed Church of Uganda has on average of 13 to 15 million Anglicans across the country. So if we took maybe a proportion of 11 million, for us we looked at the diocese and we said, if you divided this 11 million by the 37 dioceses, on average, the average number is 200,000 members per each diocese.
Per each diocese.
Okay?
Yes.
200,000.
Yes.
Now, if you have 200,000, for us we said we only need 20,000, that is 10% of that entire population of a diocese. We only need 20,000. So if the 20,000 members can pay religiously 50,000 or save a minimum of 50,000 per year, then that diocese would have mobilized on its account 1 billion.
1 billion. Interesting.
So every diocese would be having 1 billion.
Okay.
Now with the 1 billion, what the church does through this program of Kido, we invest it in non-risky areas.
Non-risky.
We either go into unit trusts, we can go into government bonds.
Okay.
In others, we go into the money market. So the unit trusts and then the government bonds, those are the areas.
It's like literally, when I look at the bond market, the financial markets, chances are high that church has quite a big hand in that invisible. Okay, it may not be directly, but there is that invisible hand that makes them a thing that everybody talks about. Government bonds, buy government bonds, because there are people that are buying them.
Yes, of course. And that is how we are introducing now. This is again, we are having a kind of a similar approach.
Yes.
We are pushing the financial institutions to enable our members of Kido even access financial facilities like loans against their savings.
Yes.
So someone is paying 50,000. But on the 50,000, this person can access a collateral-free facility that can be on a micro loan arrangement. That is from the amount of around 500,000 to maybe up to 30 million.
30 million, yeah.
So, micro level.
Yes.
And we are, through our structures, we are trying to put up a system that will enable these members. First of all, Church of Uganda is not going to get money and give to Rogers.
Yeah.
No. Neither is it going to ask its partners to get the money and do so.
Yes.
But we want to work together with the partners. When we work together with these partners, we identify, first of all, we give our members financial literacy program or financial fitness health programs. So once they're financially fit and healthy, that's when you expose them to the loan. But the loan doesn't also come in liquid cash. It comes through projects. So these members, by the time when they finish the financial fitness programs, they will have accumulated basic information on writing bankable proposals.
Wow, that is very good. Writing bankable proposals.
And business plans. Now this is done together with the bank.
Okay.
Now, and when even a facility is released, it is released within that very area.
Okay.
So it means if you identified Mr. Paul who has a hardware shop, the bank does not release, if you want to put up a structure, the bank releases money to the hardware. The hardware supplies.
Okay.
And once they supply, if you want to start up a poultry project, the bank releases money. That money is given to the gentleman who has the poultry chicks you need.
Yes.
And then we go in like that, together with the feeds. So in doing so, first of all, you are reducing the temptation of channeling that money into other avenues.
Other avenues, okay.
Two, you have given this person financial knowledge. Or you have built his capacity, given him financial literacy. So in doing so, this person tomorrow will thank the church for its initiative. But why do we want 50,000?
50,000. That's a good question.
Why are we pushing? Of course, someone can pay more than that. But why 50,000? When someone pays the 50,000, they are already members of Kido. And that is their savings that they can access maybe even after 5 years. But then, once they pay the 50,000, they can pay another extra 50,000. And with that extra 50,000, they have access to health insurance across all Church of Uganda facilities.
Interesting. Maybe this is quite very captivating, an idea, and I know whoever is watching right now, they are thinking too much. Wisdom, financial wisdom that is involved here. Now, so far, how have we reached? How far, and who are the projected beneficiaries of this aspect? And, taking a look at government programs which have been coming out to help people run out of poverty. To what extent is this aspect going to erase poverty amongst individuals? They may not necessarily be members of the Anglican Church, but I believe it can have impact to outside communities.
Wow, that's absolutely a wonderful question. Absolutely, and it's a timely question. First of all, let me begin addressing the beneficiaries. It's an open program.
Yes.
Everyone, as long as is living as a Ugandan, is invited to join Kido.
Okay.
The second thing, how will it drive poverty out of the country? I come from a school of thought that believes that poverty eradication is absolutely a myth.
It's a myth.
It's a myth. You can never eradicate poverty. Even the Bible says, the poor shall you have amongst yourselves.
Amongst you. That is true.
But we can empower people to get out of poverty.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there are people whose poverty is a mindset, it's a state.
It's a state.
And there are others that just need a simple empowerment, and then you help them out. For what the church is doing, if we can afford to negotiate with the partners and they accept to give these members collateral-free loans, okay? And also partners accept to give them financial literacy. We don't give out money before financial literacy.
If somebody has to have knowledge.
You have first to get the knowledge. Because even the scriptures are clear that many people perish due to lack of knowledge. So knowledge is a principal thing here.
Okay.
So after empowering them with the knowledge, then the church, that's the coordinator at the diocese level, together with the bank or that financial institution, begin now gathering the necessary requirements that can qualify this member to access a loan. But as I told you, we have distanced ourselves from liquid cash. We go by project. So we are first of all looking at how do you help a person in Karamoja.
Perfect. That's a very brilliant aspect.
How do you help him? How we don't want people to be given 5 million and it changes their lifestyle. But we want to take them through what they can do. But we put it in a more professional and organized way, in a bankable form.
Bankable form.
Now, even in the terms of collection, still the same structures that we've created that will enable a person access the loan are the very structures that we'll use to collect the loan, the money. But then, when we look at the church, if we succeed in mobilizing the 1 billion per diocese, it means in 5 years, every diocese on average will be having 5 billion.
5 billion.
That is a very big investment for the diocese.
Okay.
But also to the individual. Since this is a joint kind of like contribution, he will also be receiving his dividends on an annual basis.
Okay.
We think that is also another way how these members will be improved. Then we are also trying to stretch out into partnerships with these different maybe business arms that can also enable this member. For instance, if someone has got a small shop and they want to have maybe to fill it up, they don't have capital, but there is a brand called Kido. Kido can then stand in to negotiate, and then they supply the person, and the recovery arrangement is done in that manner. So for us, we believe that is the best approach. It's a religious approach that will enable a person. So what would be the perspective of the loan? The perspective is not to gain profits, to improve people out of poverty. That's how the Bible approaches it. So once you address the financial needs of an individual, you address their health needs, and also address their education needs, you've captured every community. Because those are the areas that we move around. So there is the money that he will get out of the Kido program, it will then give him a roof, because he can always build a house. So for us, we're looking at improving their income generating capacity, but at the same time also addressing their health needs. So that, if you look at in Uganda, if someone gets sick in their country, the first savings they think about is that, the first money they think about is the savings for the business. So when they get sick, they get the very savings that we are planning to gain restore life. So for us, we've given them the alternative that you save, that very saving as small as it could be, it can give you access to a financial facility that you can manage, but at least not above 30 million. Once that one is achieved, then you can also get maybe 50,000. Buy insurance for your child, be treated up to the tune of 2 million. For you just keep on going to the hospital, coming back. And there's an outpatient cover of 500,000 at only 50,000 shillings. Then there are those ones who have been accessing it at 150,000 for 3 million. So the beneficiaries, as we speak right now, we have both Muslims, both Anglicans and non-Anglicans. And when it comes to the issue of numbers, I will tell you that the Diocese of Kampala, Namirembe and Mukono are so far the best performing diocese. But let me be so much more specific. The Diocese of Mukono, the Diocese of Mukono, it has 146 clergy. All of them are members of Kido, and all of them are insured. Wow. So, and together with their spouses. Interesting. And that little fee I've told you about.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been quite very insightful. The Kingdom Development Organ, and one of the key areas which have been focused on is education and health. Of course, quite very key aspects when it comes to development of the society. As you mentioned, beneficiaries, Muslims and non-Muslims. As long as you're part of the Kido, just be a member. You've heard what you really need to do. Yes, that is it for this very moment. Of course, in our business insight, getting to understand the kingdom business, church business. We'll hope your mind has been really changed from how you see the church as a result of this insight.
Well, that's it. That brings us to the end of Smart Business. Do care to join us next week, same time, same place. Up next is Financial Markets. Good morning.